Good morning, Ms. Cohen. I'd like to welcome you to the offices of Smith & Associates. My name is Etienne. I'm the legal assistant that will be conducting this interview with you today. What I would like to do before we actually get into the interview is firstly to ensure that that you are comfortable. Is there anything you require before we go on with the interview?
No, I'm fine, thanks.
Please help yourself to some water. If you require any other refreshments, please just ask me and I'll arrange it. What I would like to do is firstly to confirm the purpose of this interview. The interview should last no more than 15 or 20 minutes, unless we require more time. It is important for us to get complete details so that we can proceed with the matter, but it shouldn't be longer than about 20 minutes. The purpose of the interview is to gather as much information that we require to represent you in this matter. And it is important for you to give us as much information, no matter how irrelevant you think it might be. It is important that we get the full picture before we proceed any further. With regards to the fees, regarding our representation of yourself, Mr. Smith, the lawyer who is managing this file, is scheduled to have a meeting with you on Friday at 2 p.m. where he will discuss the complete details of the retainer agreement.
Okay.
I also do want to assure you that Smith & Associates has got several years of personal injury experience, and specifically personal injury experience arising out of motor vehicles, which from the notes on the file I gather is what your case involves. So I want to assure you that your interests are in good hands, and that you will be professionally represented. I also want to just briefly explain my role as the legal assistant. I assist Mr. Smith in gathering the information and also in managing the file. Mr. Smith, however, is the lawyer who will dispense of all legal advice regarding this matter. Him and I will be working very closely on this matter so that you are represented fully and professionally. The firm's approach is that of a team-orientated approach. We work closely together to make sure that the client is well represented. It's also important for me to indicate that confidentiality is very important to the firm. Everything you tell us and all the work that we do related to this matter is treated with the strictest of confidence. And we know this is important to you, and we do hold it in high regard. As I mentioned earlier, it is important for us to have complete information with regards to the matter. So it is important for you to tell us everything. And also after this interview, if something should come to mind, please feel free to contact us. And so that we can get as much details as we require. I'd like to give you just a brief outline of the interview. First, what I would like to do is for you to give me a complete picture of the events which occurred. And from there I will ask you some questions if necessary, so that, as I mentioned before, we can get a complete picture of the event. Are you comfortable and ready to proceed?
Yeah, that's fine.
So if you can tell me exactly what happened on the day in question, and if you want to make notes or draw a sketch, please feel free to do so.
Okay. It was June 17th, 1997, and I was driving my mom's car, which was a Volvo station wagon, along Ninth Street. I was going north, and I was in the far left lane, and I came to a red light at, I believe it was 57th Avenue, and so I stopped, and I had a girlfriend in the car in the passenger seat, and we were having a conversation, and so I was sort of turned and talking to her, and next thing I knew, we were hit from behind. So at that point, I got out of the car immediately, but then realized, you know, I better get in the car because I don't want to stop traffic. So I got back in the car, and sort of kitty corner to the intersection there was a Rogers Video. So I pulled in there, you know, waiting to have the other guy who hit me come in there and so that we could exchange information. So I drove into there, and next thing I know, another gentleman drove in, and he was driving a, I forget what they're called, an expensive European car. I forget what they were, but what it was. But anyways, it was white, and he drove in, and he said, "Did you hit me?" And I looked at him, and I was kind of confused, and I was like, "No, did you hit me?" And he was like, "No, I was hit." And so at that point, I realized that I wasn't the only person that was hit. So we're standing there waiting, sort of a bit confused, and then another gentleman pulls in, and he was in a red Jeep. And he gets out of the car, and after speaking to him, we decide that he hit the both of us. He didn't speak any English, but his passenger did, and so she helped with exchanging the information. I got his driver's license and his insurance sort of numbers and all that sort of stuff, and we exchanged, and I exchanged my information also with the other gentleman who was hit. He left, and then I was sort of shaky and a bit in shock and sort of upset and not really thinking clearly, but my girlfriend was in the car the whole time, and you know, I sort of peeked into the car and I said, "Are you okay?" And she just seemed really out of it, and I was like, you know, "Is something wrong?" And she said that she didn't feel right, that she felt like something was wrong with her back. So I said, "Okay, I better take you to the hospital." So the gentleman in the white car asked if we were okay, and I said, "Yeah, I thought I was okay. I would drive her to the hospital." So he said, "Okay," and so then they left. So I carried on to drive my friend to the hospital. Initially, I drove to Children's Hospital because that was the only hospital I'd ever been to in my life, but not realizing that I wasn't a child anymore. So I took my friend in there, and at the desk, the woman said, "You know, are you over 19?" And I was. So she said, "No, you have to go to, you know, VGH." So I got back into the car, and I drove my friend to VGH. And it was sort of during this time, and once I got to VGH and parked the car, and I guess my heart, you know, stopped racing, and I realized that something was wrong with me, and that I had sort of, it wasn't so much pain at that moment, but just, I just knew something was wrong. I had sort of numbness, tingling, and just odd sort of sensations going through my left leg, my right arm, I think it was, and my back. And so my girlfriend was pretty clear about her injuries. She felt she could sort of pinpoint the area in her back that she was in discomfort. So we both got seen, and so I was seen as well. And after that, the doctor just prescribed some pain relievers and told me to go to my own GP the next day. So after that, I went home, but my girlfriend lived downtown, so my mom drove my girlfriend once, realizing that, you know, I might have been, you know, not able to drive. So my mom drove my girlfriend home, and that was about it for the accident itself, and then everything progressed after that. So.
Right. If we can go back to the day of the accident.
Okay.
You mentioned it was June the 17th, 1997.
Yeah.
Do you have the estimated time of day of the accident?
I know it's documented, but I don't know exactly right now. But I think it was sort of mid-afternoon, maybe around 2 or 3.
You mentioned that the time is documented. Where is it documented?
Well, I wrote it in my diary because I've sort of kept a log. My dad suggested I do that,
Yes.
and but it's also documented at the hospital because I could, the time that I went into the hospital, I can assume it happened an hour before that. So I think that's sort of clear documentation. So.
Were the police in attendance at the
No.
accident scene?
No.
Okay. Did you report the accident to the police?
Yeah, I think I did that day. I called, I think what I did was I called the ICBC,
Yes.
that whole process. I did that first, and I think it was them who suggested I call the police, and then I did that after, and I reported it.
So you reported it the same day?
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Cohen,
You can call me Shayna. That's
thank
okay.
you, Shayna. Shayna, do you recall the weather conditions at the time of the accident?
It was sunny. It was sunny and warm.
And you mentioned in your description of the events that you stopped at a red traffic light.
Yeah.
At the time of the collision, was the traffic light still red?
Yeah. Yeah, because I was still, I think what happened was, I was driving, I saw it turn orange, I stopped, and it was, so that's when I started talking to my girlfriend, and then we were hit. So it sort of happened really quick, and then, it must have still been red because I got out of the car and then realized, oh, I better get going now. Okay. So, yeah.
And were there other vehicles stopped at the traffic light as well?
There was, I was in the left lane, and there was the right lane beside me. They were all stopped. Okay. So.
And you noticed this when you got out of the vehicle?
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't really recall, paying particular attention to that detail, okay. But that makes sense.
Okay. And can I have the details of your friend, the passenger in your vehicle?
Yeah, her name is Meredith Jones.
Yes. And do you have contact details for her?
I do. She's recently moved, so I might have to get back to you with her correct address and phone number.
Yes. Right, thank you. I'd just briefly like to talk about the vehicles.
Right.
Can you describe the damage to your vehicle?
Yeah. I was driving my mom's Volvo. It was a station wagon. I think it was an 88. We were hit at an angle. Maybe I'll draw it for you, because that would be... So if that's my car here, I was hit like that. So it was...
And the front of your car is
yeah, so that's me, and that's my girlfriend. Here's the red traffic light. And so we were hit at an angle. I never really found out what the guy was doing, because it all seemed rather confusing, how it was a red light, how he was moving. But I think what happened was he was in this lane and decided to change lanes. And I think what he did is he switched lanes. It was a Jaguar, the white Jaguar. And the Jaguar was behind me. And I think he thought he could get into here. And so I'm not sure what damage was done here, but it would make sense that it would be his right front. But that's where I was hit. And I had it repaired, and I think it's about 4,000 damage. But my dad dealt with it because it was he was the owner of the vehicle, so, and I was living at home, so he sort of dealt with it. But I think that's about how much it was.
Shayna, on Friday you are meeting with Mr. Smith, the lawyer. Okay. If I can just ask you to bring in the proof of the repairs as well.
My dad has it, so I can get it from
if you can just bring it in on Friday. Thank you. Shayna, I'd like to talk about the injuries which you sustained.
Okay.
You mentioned that you had a tingling, that you experienced a tingling feeling when you got to the hospital.
Right.
Could you tell me more about that?
Yeah. Well, that's all I can tell you about that because I don't really remember any more about that. But the next day I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. Like all my muscles were just seized and sort of spasmy. But like it hurt to walk, it hurt to sit. And within a couple days, I noticed, and I have photographs of it. I was wearing, the belt, the way they crossed the shoulder. Yeah. I think what happened was I was jerked forward, and so I have bruising, and like a line in the shape of a seatbelt of like broken blood vessels. Yes. That go along this shoulder, and along this hip, and. When I was in the car talking to my friend, I was almost sitting, switched, yes. In the angle of looking at her. So I think that's why this was quite sore, because I was moved, like I was moved at an angle where, yes. And so when the seatbelt locked, I think it quite jarred that. So anyways, that was sort of a visual injury, and so my doctor didn't see that because I went the next day, yes. But I had my mom take pictures of it. But that was just sort of the tip of the iceberg. What happened was it seemed like every day for the next few months something else was wrong, something else was sore, something else was a problem. And so it wasn't till about 6 months after the fact that I could tell you, what exactly was wrong. It's hard to describe, but it seemed like every day there was just a new complaint or a new area that was just, yes. Off.
Oh, initially after the accident, you went to Vancouver General Hospital.
Well, I went to Children's first.
Yes, but
then I was seen at VGH, right?
The first time that a doctor saw you was at VGH.
Yeah.
Now, other than that doctor, did you see your family doctor? I think you mentioned that, mm-hmm. that you saw him the next day.
I saw her the next day. Her name's, do you need her name?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's Joanne.
Yes.
Ralph, R-A-L-P-H-E.
Thank you. And do you have a contact number for her?
Yeah, it's 604 595
yes.
2325.
25. And you referred earlier to ongoing complaints, mm-hmm. and pain. Did you continually consult Dr. Ralph?
Yeah, at her request, I saw her about every 6 weeks, okay. And she sort of documented any changes. And I saw a number of specialists, and I saw. Do you want to know the whole list of everyone I saw? Or?
Well, it will be important for us to assess the extent of all your injuries, to know exactly which doctors you did, okay. see, and also what their opinion was with, right. regards to your injuries. Okay, so you'll have to
contact them.
Well, do you have copies of any medical reports? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if I can ask you to bring that in on Friday, yep. as well, when you see Mr. Smith. It is important for us to get a complete, right. picture of all your injuries.
Okay, so I guess I'll go in order, okay. of like time. First, Joanne sent me to a massage therapist. I can't remember her name because I only went a few times. I found it more discomfort than relief that I was getting. I think it was a bit soon after the accident. That was at Oak Ridge Physiotherapy, and but she was a massage therapist, so I saw her first.
And if I could just interrupt you, did Dr. Ralph suggest that you go see the massage therapist?
All these people that I'll list off was, yes. at Joanne's request. So first there was that one, then there was an acupuncturist. I forget his name, and again I only went a few times. It hurt a lot, so I stopped going. Then I went to a physiotherapist who I've seen continuously throughout. She's at Traylor Physiotherapy, and her name is Christine. Then I don't know what his official title is, but he's a musculoskeletal pain management type of doctor, and he's at the Echelon Center on Broadway. His name was Condon, C-O-N-D-O-N. I saw him for a while. He retired, and then I was referred to Dr. King, who had the similar background,
Yes.
sort of a pain, chronic pain sort of history. And then, who else did I see? I saw another massage therapist that I stayed with for quite a few years because I found her helpful. Then I saw, I don't know what type of doctor he was, but he was at the request of ICBC.
Yes.
And I don't know his name, I just saw him once. But I have that file. And then I saw, the last person I saw was Dr. Foti at UBC, a neuropsychologist. That was referred to by Dr. King. He suggested I go to see him, and Dr. And Joanne set that up.
Yes.
So that's all of them.
Well, it appears that you sustained reasonably serious injuries, and there's quite a history of medical experts that you have seen with regards to these injuries. And if I can just remind you to bring the reports on Friday, please. Shana, I'd like to move on briefly to the other party.
Okay.
The driver of the vehicle who struck you from behind.
Okay.
Do you have complete details of the vehicle he was driving?
Yeah, it's not with me though, but I can bring those.
Okay.
I have the year and the model and.
Right. Okay, and you have his name and and the registration number of the vehicle.
He wasn't. It wasn't his vehicle, nor did he have a BC license. He had a learner's license from another country, and so I don't know what you'll do with that or if it matters, but I also, because of that, I took the passengers, because it was her car,
Yes.
so I took her information too. She offered that to me. So.
Yes, thank you for remembering that. That might be very important.
Okay.
The fact that he doesn't hold a BC driver's license.
Yeah, I thought it was sort of sketchy. So.
No, it's very important. Did you notice anything odd or out of the ordinary with regards to the other driver?
Well, no, he didn't speak any English. He didn't seem bothered by the fact that he hit anyone. I mean, I was sort of shooken up. The gentleman in the white Jaguar was sort of shooken up, and so was his, I think it was his wife that was with him. But he was just sort of nonchalant. The girl he was with, though, his passenger, she offered me money to walk away from it right then and there.
Okay.
But I said no. I thought that was
Thank
a bit
you.
weird. So.
Yes. And she made you this offer in the presence of the driver of the vehicle, and in the presence of was there anybody else present?
Well, my passenger was in the car the whole time, but I'm not sure. I can't really remember exactly if the other gentleman, was right there or what he was doing. So.
Okay. Shani, if I can just briefly come back to the injuries.
Okay.
Are you experiencing any of the effects of any of these injuries at the moment?
Yeah. I've improved over the years, but it's been slow. Do you want to know how I feel right now? Is that what you're asking?
Are you consulting any doctor at the moment?
Yeah. I'm still going to my GP.
Yes.
And I'm still going to massage and physiotherapy.
Yes.
I do that because I find, like, I do get relief from those things.
Yes.
So that's why I still go. Now I get, the problem is in the left low back. That's where pain will start, if it continues, because usually what happens is I'm sitting too long, like I'm doing homework or I'm studying, and so I have to sit and I'll be reading or something, and the pain will go up sort of in between my shoulder blades, and it's sort of a burning sensation. My neck has never been the same. It cracks and twists and pops, and it always feels like it's in knots. The biggest problem, though, is headaches. I've had, at the beginning, I was having headaches more often than not. Now I get headaches about anywhere from like 2 to 4 days a week, and they last a whole day. Like I'll wake up with it, and I'll go to bed with it, and nothing seems to help that. But that seems to be the most, that's the hardest thing, because it's hard to, like I had to take a year off school. It's
been a very traumatic experience.
Well, yeah, it's hard to just, I mean, the back is one thing, because I can, it'll often help if I do some exercises or change my position or walk around, or, so I can relieve it, but the headaches I can't do anything about. So that's really frustrating.
Yeah. And on Friday when you do see Mr. Smith, please remember to bring all the reports also from your GP.
Okay.
With regards to the current treatment you are receiving.
Oh, I forgot one other person I saw. Do you want to know that?
Yes, please.
Well, it wasn't a person, I guess. At UBC Hospital, they did a, it was a CAT scan.
Yes.
But they also did, I don't know what type of, I forget the name of the kind of process it was, but you lie in a machine and it goes over you and it takes pictures of all angles of your body. And I had one of those. So, but I have the report for that too, or Joanne has it, so.
Yes, that'll be very helpful, thank you.
Okay.
Shane, is there anything else at this stage which you think might be relevant?
I missed work. Do you want to know about that?
Yes, that's very important.
I was working, let's see, it happened in the summer, and during the summer I had a summer job at Rogers Cable Systems, and I think I had a shift like 2 days after the fact, and I went. I realize now I probably shouldn't have, but I went. I didn't realize how bad it was. They sent me home because I realized how much discomfort I was in. In all, I took about, it was about 6 weeks off, but I wasn't working full time, so so I don't know how many shifts that was, but it was about 6 weeks that I took off. Okay.
Did you resume working there after 6 weeks?
I did, but I didn't work as many shifts as I had before, and I had to have special, like I had to request to like sit in a chair instead of being on my feet all day, and that sort of thing. And I couldn't work. I couldn't work a full 8-hour shift because I found that too discomforting. So I had to work 4 or 6 hours instead.
Okay, all right, that's very helpful. Thank you. Do you have any other questions for me at this stage?
No, I don't think so.
I'd like to just briefly describe what will happen after today.
Okay.
I will make sure that Mr. Smith is fully briefed with regards to the interview you and I have just had.
Okay.
So he will have all the knowledge at his disposal.
Okay.
When he advises you with regards to this matter on Friday. Between now and then, if you should have any questions or if you have remembered anything, please do not hesitate to contact the firm or me personally. Here's my business card.
Thank you.
And should you remember anything.
Okay.
I want to thank you for your for the way you gave a complete and comprehensive picture of the accident. You remembered very, very important information, which is relevant and very important for us as we represent you in this matter. Please free to contact us anytime if you've got any questions.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Gee.